Hey, Steve Stine here. Thank you so much for joining me for this course. We're going to be talking about what I call power chord creativity. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to manipulate and get more interesting ideas out of a power chord. But first, what we need to do is just talk about what is a power chord. Well, a power chord is a chord that is missing a crucial element, which is what we call the third. Now, when we talk about normal chords, for instance, we might be talking about G major, or D major, or D minor, or something like that. The note that makes the chord sound major or minor, which is what we call the third of a chord, and it's okay if you don't know what that is, but that's what it is. It's what makes it sound happy or sad. Well, that note is missing on a power chord. So when you play a power chord, like for instance, if you play a 6-string power chord, like G, for instance, I go to the 3rd fret and I play 3, 5, and 5. That's a power chord. Now you can play 2-finger power chords, which is the 6th string and the 5th string, or you can play what we call a 3-finger power chord where you add the pinky on underneath. Now the reason you can do either or is because where the pinky is, this note is also G. This note is G, and this note is G, okay? So the 6th and 4th strings are both G. Now, you don't have to have both G's in there if you don't want to. You could just have one. Some people like to play 2-finger power chords. Some people like to play 3-finger power chords. I play both depending on where I'm at in a song and what it is I'm doing and what fingers are available. So it doesn't really matter to me which way, but just understand that that's what's happening is you're playing the root, what we call the 5th of the chord, which is D. So we're playing G and D, and then we're playing a G again. So you can either play them with just 2 fingers like this, or you can play them with 3 fingers. Sometimes I play the 2-finger like this with my 1st and 3rd fingers. Sometimes I play the power chord like this with my 1st and my pinky. And again, my hands are pretty small, and so that's why I think sometimes that happens, but that's what I do. So when I go to play a power chord on the 6th string, I would play 2-finger or 3-finger. If I'm playing 3-finger, obviously I'm using all 3 of these. If I'm playing 2-finger, I might use this fingering. I might use this fingering. And again, it's for you to figure out what works best for you. So that's where we're at on a 6th string. If we move to the 5th string, we're just moving everything down 1 string, and now we're on what we call a 5th string power chord. So when we get to a 5th string power chord, we're playing 5, 4, or 5, 4, and 3 for strings. Okay? And you can play 2-finger or 3-finger. Again, same thing applies. The only difference is when you get to the 5th string, you don't want to strum the 6th string anymore. You know, you might notice a subtle difference between the 2 and the 3-finger, but you might not. Often, if it was mixed in a song, you'd never know. If I was doing it live on stage, you'd never know. Okay, so it isn't really about that. It's about comfort. Okay, so I've got my 6th string power chord, and my 5th string power chord. Now, I want to show you something that I think is kind of cool, is when I'm moving between the 6th string and the 5th string, okay, sometimes what I like to do is find a little shortcut so everything sounds a little more smooth when I move, because if you think about it, when I play like this, if I play my 6th string power chord like this, and then I want to play a 5th string, I got to pick everybody up and move them down, and that's okay. But there's a little shortcut that I tend to do a lot, and what I do is I make the 6th string as a 3-finger power chord, and then when I want a 5th string chord, what I do is I take my 3rd finger off the guitar, and I simply move this finger down 1, okay? So if you can look at it from, well, either angle will work just fine, but I'm taking this finger off the guitar and I'm moving the 1st finger down. And what you'll notice is the pinky stays the entire time. So not only is this kind of acting like an anchor for me, okay, so I can move back and forth quickly, okay, the sound of that string continues to ring out. And it just feels like I can get between the 2 chords more seamless as opposed to doing it this way. So it sounds a little more smooth to me. So that's just another little trick to kind of prep everything else that we're going to be doing as we go through this course. Understanding how to make a power chord, the understanding of a 2 and a 3-finger power chord, and how to shift between those chords. Okay? Now as we keep going, we're going to